You're investing thousands of dollars in your team offsite. You've booked the venue, arranged the catering, blocked off everyone's calendars. But here's what's about to happen. Most of that investment is going to get wasted after the first 20 minutes. You'll fail to grab attention. You'll miss the opportunity to build real connection, and you'll completely miss the mark on pacing. By the time lunch rolls around, your team won't be engaged. They'll be exhausted. Let me paint you a picture of what I see happen over and over again. Most offsites follow an unfortunate pattern. They stack content back to back and assume smart people can absorb it all. Here's what's actually happening inside your team members' nervous system. After 20 minutes, their brain starts searching for an exit. It's not conscious, and it's not intentional. It's just their nervous system doing what it's designed to do. After 45 minutes, most people stop listening entirely. They're physically present, but mentally, they've checked out. After 90 minutes, they're not even pretending anymore. They're just waiting for it to end, watching the clock, and thinking about everything else they could be doing. This isn't a character flaw, and it's not laziness. This is neuroscience. Let's dig into that. Research from the University of California shows that it takes an average of 23 minutes for your brain to refocus after a distraction. Think a text alert on your phone. But here's the kicker that many people miss. Most sessions in offsites are longer than 23 minutes, which means once you're distracted, our brains never have a chance to refocus. We're distracted for the entire session, with our brains working overtime to stay engaged with content that's being delivered in a format that fights against our biology. So the problem isn't the content. The problem is that your brain has a focus window, and we keep ignoring it. When you force people to stay locked in beyond that window, you don't get deeper engagement. You get resentment. You get burnout. You get people who dread your next offsite before this one even ends. So what's the brain's focus window? This is where everything changes. It's 20 minutes, and that's not arbitrary. And it's not something I made up. It's based on how your nervous system actually works. 20 minutes is the window where your brain stays in peak focus without needing a reset. It's long enough to go deep on something, but it's short enough that people don't check out mentally. There was an interesting study done by Microsoft where they found that when people work in focused 20-minute intervals with short breaks in between, usually about 5 to 10 minutes, their productivity increased significantly. But here's what's equally important. Their stress levels dropped. So productivity goes up, stress levels go down. That's a win-win. We think productivity and well-being are separate things, but they're not. When you work with your nervous system instead of against it, both things improve at the same time. And that's pretty cool. Here's a quick science lesson to help explain the why. Brain waves, known as frontal alpha asymmetry, show higher engagement when breaks are used properly. Without breaks, the brain's stress levels continually climb throughout the day. So your team isn't getting tired because they're working hard. They're getting tired because their brains have never had a moment to reset. Their nervous system is in a constant state of strain. After discovering the 20-minute block method myself, I worked with a tech company that was running the traditional format, 60-minute sessions, long presentations, and they were frustrated because engagement was low and retention was even lower. We switched them to 20-minute blocks with 5-minute breaks in between. The change was immediate. Energy went up, participation went up. But the real win came 2 weeks later when they realized people were implementing what they'd co-created during their offsite. The structure itself changed the outcome. 20 minutes is long enough to go deep on a topic, but short enough that people don't check out mentally. Hit them with a hook, back it up with 3 points, and get out, leaving them wanting more. I use this for talks I give as a keynote speaker. Before they check out, I switch into audience involvement, regardless of the size of the group. And it works. It respects the way their brains function instead of fighting against it. Now, it's critical to define what a break actually means. It's not about letting people check email or scroll their phones. That's not a break. That's just a distraction swap. Their brain never actually resets. You're just switching from one form of stimulation to another, and their nervous system stays in the same stressed state. A real break resets your nervous system. Harvard research showed that a 5-minute break with no screen time reduces cognitive fatigue. But if people spend that time on their phones, fatigue actually increases because their brains never truly switch off. You're not giving them time to recover, you're just changing the channel on their stress. At a recent offsite I was leading, I encouraged 5-minute movement breaks between sessions. People walked outside or they stretched. They did deep breathing exercises. What surprised everyone after the movement break was that ideas flowed faster. People were more present and more creative. So let's rethink breaks during an offsite. It's a reset. Your body needs time to move. Your eyes need time to look at something distant. Your nervous system needs to shift out of focus mode for a few minutes. When you design breaks this way, the next 20-minute block is even more productive than the first. Here's another bonus to reset breaks that I love watching happen. When you give people 20-minute blocks with real breaks, they start talking to each other. Real conversations, not the surface level stuff that happens when people are tired. Genuine connection. That connection can make or break an offsite. So I've set you up for success, and you can see why this method just makes sense. It's time to try the 20-minute block method at your next offsite and share the results with me. Now, if you want some help applying the method to your team offsite, reply to this video or reach out to me and I'll walk you through it. I help teams transform their offsites from energy-draining marathons into experiences that connect and propel their team forward. That's what bounces me out of bed in the morning. And remember, subscribe to this channel so that you get notified when I release more videos on activating team culture. Your next offsite doesn't have to be another low-energy meeting. It can be the moment your team actually connects, thinks clearly, and commits to moving forward together. It starts with respecting the 20-minute window. Everything else follows from there. I'll see you in the next video.